Hey there, friends. I hope that you are having a happy day. I've got a couple new journals for the shop. Let's start with Herbology, simply because this is a new fabric and I really do love it. It's got lavender. I think we've got a little bit of rosemary up here. I think this is chamomile. I'm not quite sure. This might be maybe basil. I'm not sure, but I do know that this is lavender and that's rosemary, which I really do like. I love herbs. My wonderful neighbors next door grow all kinds of herbs. And they gave me a pot of chives last year, and they said that it would last the winter, but it didn't. And which, speaking of winter, we're having a big snow right this minute. I am dumbfounded. It's March 12th. It's cold enough to snow. Okay, let's get back to this. Rosemary. I cat sit for friends, and they have a pot. They grow herbs in their windowsills. They live in an apartment complex downtown, and it's so cool because when they are gone, they allow me to pick their herbs, of course, so I can get some rosemary and some basil. It makes me really want to grow herbs, and I think I might tackle that this year. I'm not going to tackle a garden again this year because I'm super fortunate that I work for a farm, and so I can get a lot of vegetables for a good price at the farm. But anyway, the rosemary thing, I was interested. You always hear that you should plant rosemary by your garden gate. Now, the first time I heard that was in the movie Practical Magic, which is one of my very, very favorite movies. At the end of the movie, it says you should always plant rosemary by your garden gate, and I didn't know why, but rosemary is considered a sacred plant that imparts peace to living and the dead. So it's a protection herb. I did not know that. And if you know the movie Practical Magic, then you know what they were asking protection from, that evil guy that one of the sisters was involved with. Anyway, it's a great movie, so if you've never watched it, you got to watch it. We're starting off with your story and a little storybook for you. Also a skinny book, because we just love skinny books. It's a great way to make use of these 1-inch strips that we seem to cut off paper quite often. So I take these little books, take the paper, and I fill it with just unlined paper, and then that way you have a sweet little skinny book. But I don't know where that paper clip came from. But I really do need jumbo paper clips. I'm totally out, so I can't make Harry paper clips right now, and now it's snowing. So there's that, y'all. Well, starting off with something pretty. I had not noticed, y'all, but there's a peacock feather in this paper, which I thought was really super keen. Something fun to color. And, we're always like measuring our plants to see how tall things are. So I thought that it might be fun to have this little ruler page in here with numbers on it. To me, numbers are very helpful all the time. I dig numbers. Our little book plate is a thrasher, a catbird, and a mockingbird, and they're all on this one page. Poor little Kronk, Mr. Kronk, my big Rhodesian Ridgeback. He's not little, but he ate a bird's nest, and this has been 3 years ago that he ate the bird's nest. Well, there is a bluebird that routinely swoops down in the yard during the spring and the summer and pecks his back. So I don't know if that's the same bird mama or whatever, but poor Kronk. Can't get rid of the bird, seems to. Maybe I should put a wreath of rosemary on Kronk's neck, and maybe that would protect him from that evil spirit, the bird. I love animals. This is a sweet picture of a zebra pillow that I got from a catalog. Zebras represent perfect balance and harmony. And, I love animals. I love babies. I love for this first signature to just make you smile. And there's a sweet little baby, and he's smelling some tulips. That's sweet. And a sweet little baby petting a horse. These are all from Country Living magazine. It's just really sweet. And this is just from Paper Crafting magazine. Inspiration for you. Love those colors. Some butterfly magic for you. These are resist papers, so you can spray them or marker them or do whatever you want to them. And it's like those... do you remember when you were little and you got those color books and you could just use water and a Q-tip and like bring the colors out? What were those books called? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It wasn't a color by numbers book. It was like a magic colors book or something like that. Anyway, I used to love those things. Here is a bluebird of happiness to go along with our thrasher and our catbird and our mockingbird. I always think Mockingbird, the song by Carole King and James Taylor. Everybody, have you heard She's Gonna Buy Me a Mockingbird? If that mockingbird don't sing, she's gonna buy me a diamond ring. I love that song. This is a pocket full of fun for you and another resist item. This time it's like a banner, or you could turn that into like a pointer, an arrow. That might be fun. Papers for you. This is the story. These are great little items to cut apart and make into tags or do a journal page or add to your written journal, or just make a little piece of art with, or to make a card with. Remember that this book is chock full of card making supplies. You've got nice paper here that is already pre-folded. You could add some stuff to this paper and just send it as a card to someone. It's always nice to remember people physically, by physically writing them. I have just been delighted that some of you are writing me letters, and that's just the nicest thing in the world for me to get a letter from one of you guys. And so we're kind of pen paling it in a very traditional way, and I sure do like that. Thank you guys for doing that. That kind of makes my day. This little signature, here's another bag of elements for you. I think there's some chipboard pieces in here. Another little skinny book right here. Crazy about that washi tape. Love. Don't you love it? Oh, it just makes me smile. Love it, love it, love it. Lots of papers for you to play with. This is kind of just think about the way that people live. Do you live very elegantly? Or do you live in a cabin? Or do you live with a kitty cat? Oh, wait, I don't know how that snuck in there. I think because there were doggies over here, I just had to balance that out with the kitty cat. This is a sweet little print from a new book, but it's an old print from a new book. I just love it because he's really trying to get that goldfish in there. He's kind of standing on his little tippy toes. This was a precious story, y'all, about a little girl who had an older brother and older sister, and she was the youngest child, and they didn't play with her very much. So she made up her own friends, and her friend was she made up a horse, a stick horse, and nothing more than a tobacco stick worn smooth from years of use. But in my mind, he was a beauty, a golden palomino with a silky mane and glistening white tail. He could run like the wind across the green hayfields. And it tells about her helping her mom shuck corn, and she would take the corn silks and put them on her stick horse and pretend that those were his mane. It's just the sweetest story, and you won't believe how it ends. It has a great ending. Yes, I do love a good ending. This is a little bit from the Old Farmer's Almanac. This is a 2016 Farmer's Almanac. I like this because it says the number 224, the Old Farmer's Almanac, calculated on a new and improved plan for the year of our Lord 2016. Being leap year and until July 4th, the 240th year of American independence. I have several, I have a 2016 and a 2017 almanac. that I'm working with right now. Do you guys know about this hole in the almanacs? The hole is when the almanacs were first started publishing in 1818, people would nail a hole right here and run string through the almanac, and so they could hang it, you know, like in their barn or in their home or in their outhouse. Served a dual purpose there. So in 1919, the publishers of the Old Farmer's Almanac started poking a hole into the, like a pre-planned, pre-nailed hole into all the farmers' almanacs to make it easier for the farmers to hang it wherever they needed to hang it. This is a sweet little story about a pineapple plant. Had no idea that you could grow these like miniature teeny tiny pineapples. It's very pretty. It's called an ananas. Ananas comosus. Ananas comosus. I love that pronunciation. A couple gold leaves for you guys. I thought that the gold leaves and even this little maple leaf under here just went really nicely with this color palette. And a little smash book for you. Oh my gosh, that was fun. And then we have our coffee element. We have this beautiful napkin. Don't you kind of love that blue? So it says Cafe au lait. And then there's a cafe here and a French press right here. I thought this was so interesting. Schools of Wisdom, the first coffee houses in Constantinople around 1554 were called Cave Canaz. Schools of the wise, because they were the luxurious meeting places of men of arts and literature. See, drinking coffee does make you smarter. I've got a little bit of paper for you. It does make you smarter. It wakes you up. It's Coffee O'Clock. This is a little coffee dyed index card that was sent along. I think Kathy sent these along. Can't remember. But they're super neat, and I don't have any more of them. I love the fade that she got on here. Oh my goodness, a 1962 Family Circle magazine. I gotta show this to you. I'm gonna turn it upside down. Good coffee is like friendship, rich, warm, and strong. Good coffee makes the moment. It's the friend that's always there to warm you and cheer you and put your world to rights. So make it this way every time. A tablespoon of coffee heaped for every welcome cup. Make it coffee, make it often, make it right. I really like that very much. And I love the photograph because she's got her coffee, she's sitting in her little windowsill seat, and she's reading a letter, and it's obviously a sweet and happy letter. I just think it's really cool. Coffee punch. To me, that sounds good. Coffee, milk, sugar, vanilla, ice cream, whipping cream. The dance of hope. He that lives in hope dances without music. Oh, isn't that nice? And a couple of ATCs for you. Coffee and Friends, the perfect blend. There's also, I stamped you some coffee cups and coffee beans on a piece of paper over here. So you've got that to play with. This is the photograph from the story about the girl in her stick horsey. Got a great ending to that one. I think I mentioned that. And I just got to have a doggy in there. Kronk yesterday jumped out of the bed and walked around all day with a gimpy leg. It was so sad. But he was in no pain. He just couldn't really use his leg. He'll be 12 this year. But I tell you, he got water in bed and he got fed in bed, but then he woke up this morning and he was perfectly fine. I'm always so appreciative of the health of my animals. I know we all are. I love this card. It says today, it has a clock on it, then it says take note and an etc. This is our little fashion element here. I would pull this out, but I mean, look at this book, you know. I just can't stop. I want you guys to have everything. I really have a problem. This is from a fashion magazine, a little fashionable girl, all dressed in red. Another little item from the 1962 from the 1962 Family Circle magazine. This is about hairstyles, y'all, and it's a full page, so there are 2 hairstyles on the front and 2 on the back. This is a preview of spring fashions, so you can check that out. You know, what were you wearing in 1962? I was probably wearing a little dress that my mommy made for me. Oh, and I was probably had my snazzy cowboy hat and my little gun holster on too, because, you know, I kind of thought I was a cowgirl. This is an excellent little J. Peterman piece about the cafe racer jacket, and these were very common in the 1960s. So, you know, Marlon Brando kind of had the black leather thing going on, but the cafe racers really had the you know, the lighter jackets with the padding and all, because cafe racers, of course, referred to motorcyclists. So I thought that was just really interesting, a fun element. You know, you just can't go wrong with that J. Peterman catalog. A fabric page for you to play with, some pattern paper. A little Great American Recipes. You know, this is food and fashion right here. This is about how to use a food processor. And I thought it was very interesting to kind of juxtapose that with the 1962 Family Circle magazine, where you just aren't going to have things like that. Apparently, y'all, treat and any sort of canned ham, canned meat was a big deal in the early 1960s, because this magazine had several references to canned meat and recipes for canned meat and that kind of thing. So I thought this was, you know, very interesting to kind of see. This is canned chili right here. So we got treat right here, chili right here. I'm sure we'll have more in the remainder of this page. This was... you're going to win a full year vacation from washing and ironing. Yeah, that's right. A full year of vacation from the Musselman, hold on, I got to pull this back in here. From the Musselman Applesauce Company. Really good. It's so funny. It says that the best way to write the essay to win a year's vacation from washing and ironing is to sit down and have yourself a bowl of Musselman's applesauce, and then just let your creative imagination and your words just flow into your essay. But you got to have that bowl of Musselman's applesauce first. Yep. I love things like that. I think they're so cute. This is a Project Life card. It says, I'm sorry, this is a Graphic 45 card. It says Artisan. I just think that is so pretty. It's very Art Deco-ish. You know, when I think of Art Deco, I kind of think of the way that my grandma's house was decorated. She was kind of Art Deco-ish, kind of traditional, sort of both ways. But you know, I just remember a very distinctive chair that she had that was orange, and it sat in the corner. It was kind of one of those chairs that, you know, it rotated, you know, like an office chair. Anyway, it just fascinated me when I was a little girl, because I would get in it and I would spin around and around and around and around. It was all kinds of fun. Using a food processor. Now, this is part 2 of using a food processor. Remember when we had the how to use a microwave, we had an actual 4-part series in this American Recipes book. I don't know about you, but I don't need 4 parts to know how to use a microwave. But I think that people were actually cooking, you know, in microwave ovens at that time. A little more about spring fashions in February of 1962. And a dress form, this time with lace on it. Donna does such a spectacular job on these. So pretty. And we are into our 3rd signature now. Dragonfly up here for you. Got some sticky notes. Don't you love sticky notes? Butterflies, of course. Archaic papers, things like physical calendars. I still have to have a physical calendar. I cannot do that phone or computer thing. Old note paper. old lined paper. Name, address, city, phone, you know, no mention of email or your Instagram account or your Gmail account or your Hotmail account or your Twitter or your whatever. This is from the 1988 Colonial Homes magazine, talking about international long-distance service. It costs less than you think to stay close. So go ahead, reach out and touch someone. And now we text. We can text anywhere, you know, as long as it's in our phone plan. So I just thought that was super cool. More archaic papers. A checkbook. Don't use that anymore. Timesheet, that's electronic now. A little bit of graph paper for you because I just thought it was fun. I also love things like this because they denote bookkeeping. And, you know, now we're into, you know, we're QuickBooks, we're computer oriented. We usually don't keep physical records. I have to keep physical records. I just don't trust that whole, you know, computer thing. Yes, I'm a Luddite. I just can't get with the times, but that's okay. We have this elegant, high-tone, erasable bond typing paper. Donna sent this, and it is so luscious and beautiful. I just think it's extraordinary. You know, and who types now? I told you guys I found an old typewriter in a house that I was cleaning out. I still have not gotten that thing out and played with it. I just have not had a whole lot of time to do that. More of the archaic papers. Love things like this. Some stickers for you. This time they are happy heart-shaped stickers and some ABC stickers for you to play with back here that kind of have a garden theme, so I thought that matched well with the theme of our little book on the cover. And of course this is a smattering of just fun educational ephemera. This is a little bit of math, a little bit of science, this time an earthquake zone, which I thought was really interesting. And on the back of this, it talks about volcanoes. I love earth activity. I realized that you know, when earthquakes happen or when volcanoes happen, it is detrimental and, you know, deadly. But it's also, to me, very interesting how the earth is just put together with these plates and how these plates react and just the whole, you know, science thing. I think I really missed my mark there. I could maybe been a research scientist. A little bit of fun game ephemera for you. This is some actual writing from a what do you call that, bridge game. Yeah, words, like Leanne says, words. Now this is really sweet because this started out as just a plain tally, but someone has stuck these pretty little roses on it. So pretty neat. Got a little bit of Hardy Boys for you as the clock ticked. French Dictionary, 1952, Confessions of St. Augustine, which is written in Latin but has an English translation to it. And this is one of my favorite things, to find notes in the margin or notes on the text. So you can see the pencil notes up here. I love things like that. I just always think about the person who wrote them. You know, and were they studying, and what were they studying for, and that kind of thing. Beautiful Chinese characters for you. And this is some Swedish text, French text, and beautiful German text. I've got 2 pages in here, y'all, because this was very brittle up here, and the 2 pages were kind of stuck together. So I did just leave those 2 pages intact, and it's very pretty. Our vintage card is a birth announcement, and it says there's a cute little bag of tricks at your house, and I love it because it features an old doctor's bag, and we You know, I mean, we don't see things like that anymore. Just this is a sweet little baby. This is from the 1960 Audel's DIY book. This is a decorative storage chest. I think that's really pretty. You know, we had our little baby announcement, and this is from the 1942 Red Cross Nursing Manual, Successful Living Begins at Home. There's a little baby up there, and he's learning to do his business. Bless his sweet little soul. Love that picture. The baby card is signed Shirley and Howard Stackpole. And she says, over. Hi, so glad to hear you have a boy. You and Harry must be busting your buttons. I hope to get down and see you when you come home. Take care now. Affectionately, Shirley. Isn't that sweet? This is from the 1956 50 Things for Boys and Girls to Do. This is a course in knot tying. This is super fragile paper, y'all, but it was so pretty. You know, just the way it had yellowed. It is quite brittle, but, you know, in our world, brittle is beautiful. We can cope with it. It's the other side of that tally that has, this was Mary's tally. She's tallied up her bridge score. I wish I understood bridge. And in the back, we have an envelope from 1947 to Mr. and Mrs. Harry Nielsen, Beach Street, Saco, Maine. Another beautiful stamp. I will have Herbology in the store a little later on this afternoon. She's kind of finished with cut glass beads, and I just love these like old macrame beads. I thought that they were really neat, and they kind of went along with this little journal here. Now we've seen this fabric before. Hang on just a second. Okay, sorry. I had to grab a drink of water. This is a fabric that we've seen before, and it's one of our favorites. It is the dress form fabric. So I love this fabric. I think it's a lot of fun. There's a Tim Holtz brad on the front that says 10. So I'll take you through here. And of course, we're going to start out with our story. And lots of things for you to color and have fun with. This is a teardrop trailer. And boy, I would love to have a teardrop trailer at some point in my life. I just think they're just, I mean, that says bohemian and gypsy right there. This is a red-haired woodpecker. I have these little woodpeckers that come in, that, well, actually, they have pecked my tree to pieces. But they're so interesting that I just keep the tree, I keep the woodpeckers, I keep the squirrels. You know, I've got a squirrel condo going on in that tree, all kinds of things. Something fun for you to look at. A little puppy dog, and he's playing with some balls. Isn't that cute? Another bit of inspiration for you. I love these colors. And two sweet little girls down here. More prettiness. This is great border strip. Good gosh, it is gorgeous. I've never seen anything quite like this before. A lot of filigree going on. Very, very pretty. I put more in here for you up here. This kind of a metallic color. A deer that has been stamped on a coaster. So pretty. And another little packet of stuff for you to play with right here. A bluebird of happiness. We all need a bluebird of happiness. This is a fused paper towel heart. Tim Holtz vellum. I love these little flowers. They're really easy to cut apart, y'all, so you can use them, you know, in different ways, like maybe make some ATCs. I really did like this. I love that journal cover right there. Maybe make some ATCs to play with. That would be fun. I love these chipboard pieces. This is from that Graphic 45, and it's a dress form, you know, a bust dress form, but there are wings extending from it. I think that is so neat. Vintage sewing machine. This is just beautiful, and I love for you to have beautiful things. This is just a little bit about home. I don't know what meal this is, but the table is so elegantly set that I just had to share. Sometimes sometimes I think we all just want to sit down to a table that looks like this. I'm not sure about you, but sometimes I do an entire day of meals standing at my kitchen counter, you know, and just woofing it down so I can get on to the next task. So we've got elegance here, and then we've got a bit of a picnic here from our Country Living magazine, which I just kind of love. Now, this is a story about sassafras tea. Okay, so this whole story is about the sassafras tea, and I think this was from 1992 maybe, and this is a story about sassafras tea right here. During the Depression, how you would dig the roots and process the roots and make sassafras tea. Incredible. And of course, our eggless, milkless, butterless cake. Another bit of simplicity for you from, this is from Cabin Living magazine. So pretty. 1962 Family Circle. Now, I got to show you this sofa. It is amazing. So this sofa is designed to, you take the cushions off, y'all, and you pull these out, and they are beds. So you've got like a pull-out bed right here, and this is the bolstered headboard for the bed. Is that not super neat? I just thought it was so pretty. I love that 1962 Family Circle. I was 4 years old then. Look at that. Look at the TV. Love it. I think that a rubber plant would go just great in a room that looked like that. Uh-oh. Hang on just a second. Hey there, friends. Thanks for caller hold, please. That was my son, Christopher. He had surgery again this morning on his right hip. As some of you might remember, Christopher had bilateral hip replacement surgery last year, and the right hip did not do well. So he has had a bit more surgery on that right hip, and he sounded like he was recuperating very nicely. So grateful when he goes under and I can hear his voice on the other side. So very, very happy about that. I have a lovely cowboy for you and a horse. This is from Country Living magazine as well. I love these playing cards, y'all. They are from the Henniker Company, manufacturer of agricultural implements. And it says Roger Hoskins, Nashville, Indiana on it. These are 2016 gardening trends. People are seeing public parks, botanical gardens, and arboreta as the cultural hearts of their cities, places for serenity, learning, and great local food. I really love that. By the numbers, 42 million number of U.S. households that grow food in a home or community garden. My friends have a community garden, and man, they grow all kinds of things in their little space, in their community garden. Lots of excellent tomatoes. Tomatoes are just not so great this time of year. We need those homegrown tomatoes, y'all. And we are into our food. We've got a little bit of coffee ephemera for you. Faith sees the invisible, believes the unbelievable, and receives the impossible. Corrie ten Boom. A few pieces of coffee-oriented paper for you. I'll explain this. Remember when everybody, like, you decorated with brass and it was a big thing? I love this coffee pot, teapot. That is pretty rich tea, so I'm thinking that's probably coffee in there. And we have, from our Great American Recipes, we have some potato talk, because I think in this 1960 kitchen, you're going to see a lot of potatoes. And I'm not going to pull this out, but you can pull it out if you purchase the book. This is our lady in the kitchen, and she's talking on a phone, and she is dressed to the hilt. I mean, her hair is done. She is just absolutely gorgeous. And I love this 1960 Audell's DIY book. Another little picture of a 1960s kitchen. 1962 Family Circle again. I tell you, it's the the potted meats, the canned meats things that's going on here. This time it's potted ham pancakes. A little bit from the Depression. This is relying on old world recipes. This is a lot about spaghetti and how This person's dad actually made a pasta machine, which I thought was incredible. I like to see, you know, you've got 1972, 1960, 1962, the Depression era. It's just fun to see like all these smatterings of paper. It's very interesting. This is a, I could not slide anything else into this book. I'm embarrassed. So this is your napkin element for you to decoupage or do whatever you want to with. This is our little fashion insert right here. These are tagboard pieces. This is an old camera. This is from the J. Peterman catalog about the elegance of a red cape. It made me wonder about why nurses wear red capes. Do you guys know? Does anybody? I love Call the Midwife. You know, they wear red capes. They are red, right? I haven't seen it in a really long time. There should be a new season coming out. A little bit of fashion magazine for you. Pattern paper. Lots of fun papers to play with. There's something about that I really do dig. 1962 spring fashions. And she is wearing a red cape. Another fabric element for you to play with right here. I love this shawl. I just thought it was so pretty along with the pearls. And more of the tagboard elements. This time it says Shutterbug. And there's a beautiful lace, a lace dress form up there. And some tissue paper that match the Shutterbug. That would be a pretty piece. And then we come to our beautiful ephemera and language section. We have some Spanish for you. French dictionary from 1952. Confessions of Augustine. Of course, that is in Latin. We have some French pages for you. German pages for you. Swedish pages for you. I like all of the colors here. Now, look. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm paper crazy, y'all. Some Chinese characters, a bit from Two Gentlemen of Verona by Shakespeare. A little bit of Hardy Boys for you while the clock ticked. I love the color of the Hardy Boys against the Inspector Poirot, Agatha Christie text pieces. This is a beautiful vintage Christmas card to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Eleanor, Neil, and family. P.S. Would just love to hear from you sometime. And there we have it, you guys. Another journal for the shop. I should have these in the shop since I won't be going anywhere since it's snowing a little bit later on this afternoon. Thank you guys for hanging out with me so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.